Sex Symbol is a song basically about being sexually awakened and being open, and it's a song basically that's kind of anti-censorship. It's a song that is about freedom of sexuality, freedom of kind of consensual relationships, and it is a song that is both about experiences from me as a queer person, and it's also experiences as someone who is open to experiences and discussions about sex. I think sex generally in society still, to a degree, is a very kind of taboo topic, and it's not something that people, whether they want to share or not, maybe feel like they can't, even if they did want to talk openly about it sometimes. If you want to experiment slightly, feel free.
Oh god.
It's got all these kind of very explicit lyrics, and the idea is to kind of shape up people's perceptions. There's lyrics in it that allude to being submissive to people sexually, but then there are lyrics that play around with the idea of romantic and sexual relationships and the dynamics within those, and it is basically a kind of lyrical and musical play of those ideas. It's kind of a fantasy play on the idea of sexual relations in the 21st century, so yeah, that's what Sex Symbol is about. So the first date on the tour, the first kind of official date of the tour, was the Nest date with Feuerhaus and Harry House-A-Go. And really for me, at the start of the tour, it was a little bit scary, a little bit daunting. I was like,
I get it.
sort of like a bit of brushing. It was a gig that overall, from my performance, I wasn't overly pleased with.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be doing a gig with like two bands that I really like musically look up to, as well as love their music. I'm actually kind of watching them and being like, okay, what did they do? How do they create that atmosphere? So I can kind of watch what they do. And just to stop bobbing my head.
No, it's fine.
I'm like, yeah. It's great being coupled up with Harry House-A-Go and Feuerhaus. They're two bands and acts that I really love. They're friends of mine. Yeah,
I've been sweating all day.
You are wearing a leather jacket.
I know.
I do that all the time. Like, I'm fine, and then I peel the leather jacket off my arms. I'm like, no, that's
I was
not.
on the bus, I was just like, I can't go.
Yeah. But for me, I knew it was the start of a kind of a longer road into coming back into performing the music that I've written, always. And so, yeah, it was an exposition of that, of myself as a performer, again, of my own music. And it was a really great performance overall. It was a very atmospheric night, lots of kind of intense atmospheric kind of sounds, so it fit perfectly in the bill. So I'm back after my first gig at the Nest, and it's kind of relatively pre-tour, prepping myself up, getting ready for some more dates across Bath, Bristol, London and Liverpool, my main targets. The gig went okay. It's quite difficult. Generally, doing this thing by myself and writing the music that I want to write, it's quite a tricky thing for me. It's something that I love to do, but obviously for myself it comes with a lot of difficulty. And I know kind of things tonight didn't exactly go as I wanted it to. So yeah, it will be exciting. It will be good. Music for me in terms of the live format, it's something that I'm very much relearning. It's something I'm trying to develop and get better at. And yeah, it's great to be part of that. I-Align is about an alignment of self, of mind, body, spirit. I've developed a lot in terms of the past couple of years in my personal life and allowing me to express musically after struggles in previous years. It was kind of an element of my life that almost was a missing piece, a missing link it was something that I developed, and I needed to develop further to feel more in touch. And really, I don't think I'd be able to write the music that I do now if it didn't have that sense of interconnectedness with everything. And my life as a whole is a lot better and a lot more vibrant for me feeling that on a very, very deep level. And one of the lyrics in it is, I need to find this sense of balance I've lost somewhere in the fog. And the idea is that I'm constantly seeking this sense of something bigger than me. And it's not necessarily a god or a deity, but a connection to the universe, a connection to everything that a couple of years ago I didn't have. A lot of the sound and a lot of the inspiration from it came from meditation practice that I've been now doing for a couple of years. Mindfulness from the teachings, typically from Buddhist and Hindu kind of philosophy. And really kind of reading into that as much as I can in the past couple of years, and really feeling that. So it's a very deep kind of spiritual song. It's a song about release of self, and it's a very kind of it's a journey into the wider, higher being aspects of my personality that I've been connected with. So yeah, that's what I learned. The second day of the tour was Moles, and it was supporting MRA with another band, The Miracle Run. And MRA and The Miracle Run, in a similar way to the first gig, perfectly matched in terms of sound. It was just a really kind of, again, lots of kind of friends, lots of support there. It was a really dynamic atmosphere. And Moles has such a huge history of people that are playing there, and one of my absolute favourite bands of all time, Primal Scream, have played there. And just feeling this weight of, whoa, I'm playing on the same stage in essence as you know, these people. It was quite daunting again, but I felt a lot better about the performance. It was great, really. I could deliver it. I felt a lot more in tune with what I was doing, and generally I felt really good about the performance. Moles as a venue just really matched my tone well. So yeah, Moles was brilliant. So Out to Dry was a kind of a later addition to the EP, and the theme of it is learning when you're in relationships, learning things about yourself through relationships. There's a lot of love songs out there. There's a lot of songs about, you did this to me and I'm so heartbroken. And the song in many ways starts off like that. It's very much you were like this, you treated me this way, how could you not, feel this way about me? And I felt the same. The song about halfway through switches, and the perspective comes really about recognizing your own involvement, and often relationships that you get are, and what I discovered personally in my personal life was, the relationships you often have around you are an echo of yourself.
Said he was a different kind of lover. Was that because I actually loved you, babe? No, it's not the right time for us.
And it's very much a self-discovery song. It's a very emotive song, and it's a song that was very personal to me, very close to my heart, and it allowed me to kind of exercise a lot of those emotional demons at the time. That's really what Out to Dry is about.
Does that beating heart terrify you that much that you know
This looks like the start of some sort of strange porn video, doesn't it? You know, when they sit on the couch.
I don't know what you.
What are you talking about?
Third date on the tour was a slight change of my plan or my trajectory of where I was going to go. The first 2 gigs that I did on the tour, it allowed me to have my full one-man band electronic setup. But I kind of wanted to change that a little bit. Some feedback that I was getting and some kind of observations that I'd made were based around my music kind of being that people loved the sound, they loved the kind of processing that I was doing, but only some after the 3rd or 4th listening of the song starting to cotton on to some of the lyrics and the words. So I thought it would be an interesting idea to kind of strip everything back, strip all the electronics, strip most of the effects back and the production, and just leave it down to my voice, my delivery, my lyrics, and an acoustic instrument of some kind. We basically just took our music to the Gallimorfray in Bristol as an open mic, and we just signed up, and I thought this would be a brilliant thing. It was exposing my music to a bunch of people that I wouldn't normally maybe engage with, or that my music essentially wouldn't be put in front of otherwise.
So, here we are, heading to Dylan, you just look like such a creep. Here we are heading to the Gallimorfray. I think that's how you pronounce it, I'm the worst person. And we're about to do an open mic, so all good, in the hood. I'm excited.
And so trying to find those right venues, it was kind of beating the head against the wall going, when am I going to find the right venues? So finding instead a way in which I could adapt my music and the core of it still be there, but change it slightly and allow people to access it, because I'm not someone who wants my music to be like, yeah, this is how it is, and if you don't get it, you know, I'm an artist, and I didn't want that level of pretense about my stuff. It's very much when I create the records, that's how I want the record to sound. But the music itself, the lyrics, my kind of delivery, my messages, they are for a lot of people, and some people who might like my messages may not engage automatically or an awful lot with electronic, or especially alternative electronic music. Allowing myself to just go to an open mic and to just play some songs, it kind of put me back in touch with almost raw musicianship, rather than when you're kind of a producer and a songwriter, you sit in a box and you produce and you create whole worlds in your head through speakers and through headphones. But to actually strip it right back down and put it in front of an audience that had no idea who I was in a city that I've not played properly before, that was a really big challenge, but it was really good, and I had a really good time. So Blood Money was actually a demo, it started from a demo that I wrote when I was about 14, and for me it was a song at the time, it was one of those weird mystical songs that forms from nowhere, and listening back recently when I wanted to recreate it, I was kind of like, wow, that was quite dark for a teenager to write. And it's a song at its core that is about frustrations with the world, anger at politics, anger at the way people are treated. It's a song about basically the idea of murdering people in cold blood and money being more important than people. A lot of my songs, and especially on this kind of EP and album that I'm developing in this new era of my material, there's a lot of kind of anger, there's a lot of tension and confusion, and I've tried to put those intense feelings into the records, as it were. So Blood Money is really the pinnacle of that kind of work. It's a very intense song. It's something I'm very proud of, actually, in terms of the sound world that I created, and that sound world that I created very much fed into the rest of the tracks then, and it set that vision for the rest of the album. So yeah, that's what Blood Money's about. The fourth date on the tour is at the George Tavern in London. That is coupled up with great friends of mine, Zyko, and they are also on an electronic alternative outfit.
We need to find out some London things, don't we?
London things, yeah. No, I'm really excited about that because I think it'd be really good for us to just bring
Yeah.
a gig, and we kind of were looking for London dates together. Both of us had the struggle, we were touring at the same time, and both of us had that struggle of trying to find venues that suited us, that we had the right atmosphere, and it's one of those things we would have rather picked particular venues. We came across the Judge Tavern, and Gabby from Zyko, she was like, not gonna kind of miss this opportunity. There's been a lot of talks in London about all the kind of music venues being closed down, so it was quite important for us to kind of get involved in that and to go and see for ourselves, you know, what the talk is about.
If you wanna, wear my crown if you wanna, steal my voice if you want my blood money. Call me if you wanna, wear my crown if you wanna, steal my voice if you want my blood money.
Out to Dry, Blood Money,
Classic.
Eyeline, Closet Case
Nice.
is the single!
Yeah.
So Closet Case was the last song that I wrote for the EP, and it's a song that's in a more narrative storytelling form. Well, it's about the idea of what would my life be like if I had been someone that had been through gay cure therapy. So again, like the rest of the songs, kind of quite an intense topic, and I really wanted to bring it to the forefront. It's happening on a wide scale around the world, and the treatment of LGBTQ people as a whole in the world is still pretty atrocious.
One for sorrow and two for joy, three for a girl and four for a boy, five for...
It's actually been released as a single, so it's out on Spotify, iTunes and the works, and it was a song that I put out especially because at the time, well in recent times, there's been the attacks on LGBTQ people in Chechnya and Russia, where basically a murder, or mass murderings technically have been happening for people. There's been, compared to other issues, quite a strong sense of silence, and it infuriated me, and so I was like, what can I do as an artist and as a queer person who has the privileged situation to live in a country in which I'm not persecuted and my freedoms are, you know, for the majority celebrated and supported. 50% of all the proceeds that I ever make for the single will be going towards Amnesty International. Music for me has never been totally, you know, about this, I want to make lots of money, I want to be famous. Music for me, and the music I loved when I was younger, was always about freeing people and liberating people and making people feel that they weren't alone. And there's a lot of kind of deep connections that I as an artist now want to bring out. There's elements of it very experimental, it's a little bit inaccessible I guess to some people, so that's what Closet Case is about. Actually playing at Liverpool Pride, which I'm ecstatic about. Again, a little bit scared, a little bit daunting. My dream has always been to play on a Pride stage. Pride for me, and Liverpool Pride being my home city, means so much to me and to many of my friends. I grew up in those communities that form Pride, and it's one of the things I'm most passionate about as a queer person myself, that I can never step away from those things coming into my music, and it's very important to me, and it forms elements of my identity because it is my life. I wouldn't be who I am as an artist or as a person if I wasn't that person. So it's so important to me, and being able to perform Pride and being given that opportunity will be a great way to kind of end the tour on a high. I've always really wanted to aim for Pride, so it's like a small dream come true since I was young, so I'm very excited.
So it's good when love is free. One for sorrow and